Welcome to season 2 of the Illuminated page, a program for readers and what? Oh, like, is it fixed? Oh, the other way. Okay. Hold on. Welcome to season 2 of the Illuminated page, a program for readers and writers. We talk about books, book-related topics, what these authors do well, and how we can do those things ourselves. Have you ever read a book that's so striking and so memorable that you wish not only that you'd never read it, but that the author had never written it? Maybe you wish that you'd never even heard of it. Maybe you wish that the book and its message and everything you learned could just be erased from your memory forever and ever. Not because you didn't like the book, not because you don't think it's true, but because you wish you didn't know. You were happier before you knew. I'm sure you can relate to a read like that, and honestly, so can I. I have more than one that I could list, but for today we're going to be talking about Jon Ronson and his book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. In it, he details these horrific online pile-ons that happen when a person says something inappropriate or makes a comment or does something in the public eye, and suddenly millions of people from all around the world are piling on this person, mostly through social media, although not exclusively. Sometimes it gets personal. Honestly, I read this book years ago and I wish I hadn't. It's made me super paranoid when I'm online, and I can never truly forget the message that I learned through this book. And I guess that's a good thing because it's made me more careful and more thoughtful with what I've said and what I've posted and how I've said it. But at the same time, I was happier before I knew. I wish I could go back to that time. And isn't that why we read? And writers, isn't that why we write? To change something about the way our readers think on a basic level. And then when the way that they think changes, naturally the way they speak and behave changes as well. Worldview shifts. They're scary, but they're essential. They're necessary. Without them, we remain static. This is why we read. It's why we write. It's why we go out of our way to encounter art, to listen to podcasts and sermons, and go to museums and talk to people from older generations and younger generations for that matter, to hear what the world is like through their eyes, to hear their experiences, to go out of our way to talk to people from cultures other than our own, and to visit places that are not familiar to us, because if we don't do those things, we remain static. We don't change. We need something outside of ourselves to speak into us, to bring about change, because we're blind to our own faults. Even scripture tells us that our hearts are deceitful. We hide our worst motives from ourselves and make ourselves look good to ourselves so that we can feel good about ourselves. Really good art and really good literature and really good films and really good speeches draw us away from that, draw us outside of ourselves, and hold us to a standard that we ourselves have not created. It's why we need a God who's transcendent, quite honestly. Because if we didn't have a God who were transcendent, we would never be held to a higher standard or held to anything outside of ourselves, and we would become, in effect, our own gods. But getting back to books, we might forget certain books that we've read. We might forget that we've read them. We might forget the titles and the names of the people who wrote them, the situations and the circumstances that so enthralled us as we were turning the page. But if our worldview has shifted as the result of reading a book, we never truly forget. We carry those things with us. They become part of the way that we think, the way that we speak, and the way that we behave. This is why we read, and this is why we write. Thank you for joining me, not just for this episode, but for this whole season of the Illuminated page. I've enjoyed talking about books and writers and how we can become better readers and better writers ourselves. Stay tuned for next season. We have more things planned, and in the meantime, feel free to check out some of my books and other writings online. I look forward to hearing from you in the meantime, telling me if you liked the books or if you didn't, what you liked about them, what you didn't like, and how I can become better myself. Thank you for your time.